Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about cyber resilience in the age of AI and what that means for organizations running on Microsoft 365. As enterprises accelerate AI adoption, one question continues to come up at the executive level. If something disrupts our data, how quickly can we recover? My name is Arbindo Chattopadhyay. I'm a content AI GBB, and I'm responsible for driving adoption of our Microsoft 365 platform. Today, I'm joined by my colleague, Soumitra Bhide, Principal PM for Growth, Monetization, and Partnerships for Microsoft 365 Backup.
Thanks, Arbindo. It's great to be here. This is an important discussion because Microsoft 365 data has become foundational to how enterprises operate today.
Absolutely. We are seeing exponential data growth inside Microsoft 365. How should executives interpret that?
Well, Arbindo, data growth signals two things. First, increasing operational dependence on M365, and second, increasing exposure. When AI systems draw insights from your content, meaning when executives make decisions based on it, and when customers interact with the data, that data becomes critical. At that point, resilience becomes a governance issue, not just a technical feature discussion.
So, Soumitra, what you're saying is this isn't just about backup hygiene anymore.
Exactly. It's about protecting enterprise continuity. Now, Arvindo, as a global black belt, I know you talk to customers all the time. What are the real problems customers are trying to solve for?
That is a great question, Soumitra. As we speak to our customer, three concerns jump up. Number one is the ransomware attack. Number two is the accidental or large scale deletion. And number three is the malicious internal activity. And at an enterprise scale, these events can impact thousands of users and terabytes of content. So the real question isn't do we have a backup? It's can we restore at a scale fast enough? So, Soumitra, there's still confusion about what Microsoft covers versus what customers own.
Well, Microsoft is responsible for high availability and platform durability. We maintain multiple copies of customer data to ensure service continuity. However, in the context of the shared responsibility model, customers are responsible for protecting their Microsoft 365 data. Operational recovery, for example, recovering from ransomware or large scale deletions or malicious modifications, is the customer's responsibility. If an organization wants an additional copy of their data outside their tenant, that can certainly be achieved using third party partner solutions, which we will talk about shortly.
So, Soumitra, the key question is whether you can recover quickly enough to restore business operations if the need arises. M365 Backup helps you do that and addresses gaps in the traditional backup model.
That's absolutely right, Arvinder.
So, Soumitra, let's go deeper there. What was missing in the traditional model?
Well, if you look at the traditional backup market, most solutions export data outside the N365 trust boundary to create a baseline copy, store it in a separate environment, and then migrate it back into your tenant if recovery is required. But at an enterprise scale, that round trip can become the bottleneck. The more data you have, the longer it would take to back it up and to recover if the need arises. This creates significant time overhead plus operational and reputational risk. Now, M365 Backup takes a fundamentally different approach. We keep the data inside the customer's M365 trust boundary, eliminating that round trip migration. At an enterprise scale, removing that migration layer dramatically accelerates recovery. Now, based on Microsoft's own performance research, our native M365 backup architecture, whether purchased directly from Microsoft or through one of our Microsoft 365 backup storage or MBS partners, can deliver initial backup in a matter of days, regardless of tenant size. More importantly, Microsoft's performance research shows that our M365 backup architecture can deliver large scale restore speeds of up to 3 terabytes per hour and sometimes more, something that customers can test and evaluate directly against export only solutions. Now, this difference could be restoring in hours or days versus weeks or months. And in a ransomware event, recovery speed directly impacts operational continuity, financial exposure, and reputational risk. Now, Arvindo, I know you talk to customers even more than I do. Is leveraging the M365 backup solution within their tenant a concern?
So, Soumitra, I would like to point to the shared responsibility model here. M365 has multiple physical redundant copies of the data. For customer side protection, we strongly recommend M365 backup because of the speed and security reasons you just highlighted. And we'll talk about third party solution in a minute, where they can provide M365 backup storage plus an offline copy, giving the customer the fullest and most robust set of options. Customer should get an and solution, not an or solution, where they have to make undesirable trade-offs.
Got it. Now, Arvindo, we hear that many organizations still evaluate backup primarily on cost. How should customers think about backup?
And that is totally understandable. Until something goes wrong, backup is like insurance. And the quality of that insurance matters most when you need it. Sometimes organizations optimize for lowest price without fully evaluating restore limitations at enterprise scale. But when facing a real cyber event, the difference between restoring in hours or days versus weeks or months can be enormous, financially and operationally. That's why this solution shouldn't be treated as a commodity purchase. So, Soumitra, you mentioned M365 trust boundary. Let's talk about it from a business perspective.
Well, the key distinction is this: we keep the backup data inside the M365 trust boundary. Backups honor your geographic residency requirements. We support the Digital Operational Resiliency Act, or DORA in short, all of its business continuity and recovery provisions. This means no exporting data into another security domain, no large scale migration back during restore. Now, for large enterprises, that reduces complexity, reduces risk surface, and simplifies compliance alignment. And most importantly, it accelerates recovery.
So, how can organizations get started today?
Well, we provide two primary paths to customers. The first is to purchase M365 backup directly from Microsoft. It's integrated within the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, or MAC for short, ideal for organizations that want everything native within M365 and prefer a consolidated vendor experience. Now, in this case, to get started, we recommend engaging your Microsoft account team for sizing, architecture guidance, and deployment planning.
And the second path?
The second path is through our ISP partners. We also deliver fast and scalable backup and restore through partner solutions integrated with what we call the Microsoft 365 Backup Storage Platform, or MBS platform. Now, these partners use the same underlying APIs and architecture. Customers can find the list of recognized MBS partner solutions on our M365 Backup Storage adoption page and procure those solutions through the Microsoft Marketplace. Now, it's important to be specific when engaging a partner. Please ask for the solution built on the M365 Backup Storage or MBS platform.
And Soumitra, do many of these partners offer hybrid flexibility?
Absolutely. Most MBS partners provide a copy within the MBS platform for ultra fast restore, and optionally, an offline or air gapped copy if customers require that additional layer. Now, that gives customers both speed and governance flexibility. But for fast enterprise recovery, we strongly recommend ensuring the solution is built on the MBS platform.
That's awesome, Soumitra. So, if you had to give executives one piece of advice when evaluating solutions, what would it be?
Well, the key thing is to make restore speed and enterprise scale recovery your primary evaluation criteria. My request to customers is to ask the following questions: how long would full tenant recovery take at our scale? Is recovery dependent on cross domain migration? Have you tested restored performance under realistic conditions? The key thing is backup should not be treated as a commodity. It's resilient infrastructure.
That's great, Soumitra. Now, help us bring this back to AI.
Now, AI increases the value density of M365 content dramatically. As organizations embed Copilot and analytics across operations, downtime becomes more costly. Resilience must scale alongside innovation. And in this context, M365 Backup ensures that recovery does not become the bottleneck to AI transformation.
That's awesome. So, the message is clear here: data is growing, dependence is increasing, threats are persistent, and recovery speed defines resilience.
Exactly. Whether you choose the native experience from Microsoft or an M365 backup storage or MBS partner solution, the goal is the same: fast, large scale recovery inside the M365 trust boundary. That's the standard enterprises should expect.
Awesome. So, for organizations evaluating this technology and considering a POC, what are the first steps they should take?
That's a great question, Arbindo. The best place for organization is to begin by connecting with their Microsoft account team rep who can organize a deep dive walkthrough through M365 backup tailored to their environment. They can also explore additional resources and guidance anytime at aka.ms/M365 backup.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Soumitra, and to everyone for joining us. We look forward to continuing this conversation with your teams.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We hope this session gave you a clear view of how M365 Backup can help strengthen your resilience and recovery strategy. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or connect with your Microsoft account team to explore how this could apply to your organization. Thank you for your time.